Hello YouTube. Today we are going to talk about the three new SOCs introduced by Snapdragon for the budget to mid-range segment and which one should be your pick. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with the Snapdragon 460, which is the most budget-oriented SOC in the lineup. It has got Cryo 240 CPU clocked at 1.8 GHz. It is manufactured in the 11 nanometer process and supports Bluetooth 5.1 and Wi-Fi 6. The modem used in it is the Snapdragon X11 LTE modem, which supports download speeds of 390 Mbps and peak upload speeds of 150 Mbps. Wi-Fi 6 also means that it supports both the 2.4 GHz band and the 5 GHz band. And this also has support for dual GNSS and Navik satellite location services. Now, those of you who don't know, Navik is the Indian location services, which is the counterpart of GPS, which is of USA and has been in development for quite some time and is now fully functional and available for public use. It contains the Qualcomm Spectra 340 image signal processor with dual 14-bit ISPs. The Adreno 610 GPU in this SoC has support for OpenGL ES 3.2, Vulkan 11 and OpenCL 2.0 full. One more good thing about this SoC is that it supports Quick Charge 3.0. The official memory speed rating support for this SoC is 1866 MHz and 933 MHz. So the next SoC in the lineup is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 662. It has the Cryo 260 CPU and the same Adreno 610 GPU found in the Snapdragon 460. The CPU in this is clocked at little higher 2 GHz and is also manufactured in 11 nanometer process. This supports Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.1 just like the Snapdragon 460 and has the same X11 LTE modem, which implies the same peak download and upload speeds of 390 Mbps and 150 Mbps respectively. Wi-Fi 6 also implies the usual support of 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz bands, and this also has support for dual GNSS and Navik satellite location services. Now this has a slightly different Spectra 340T image signal processor, which is slightly more feature rich than the one found in Snapdragon 460, and the GPU, which is the Adreno 610 in this SoC, supports the same OpenGL ES 3.2, Vulkan 11 and OpenCL 2.0 full. The charging is also same as Qualcomm Quick Charge 3.0 and the memory is also pretty same with speeds of 1866 MHz and 933 MHz. Now the last one in the lineup is the Snapdragon 720G. It has the Qualcomm Cryo 465 CPU and the Qualcomm Adreno 618 GPU. It is clocked at a much higher 2.3 GHz and is manufactured in the 8 nanometer process. Now this contains the X15 LTE modem, which implies peak download speeds of 800 Mbps and peak upload speeds of 300 Mbps. It also supports Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.1 and has the same location features, which is dual GNSS and Navik. The Qualcomm Adreno 618 GPU found in this SoC has the support of the same APIs, which is OpenCL 2.0 full, Vulkan 11 and OpenGL ES 3.2, but the differences will be in the number of cores, clock speeds and the outright gaming performance. Now the memory support is a little bit different in this one, as it supports two 16-bit type channel and can support up to 8 GB of RAM, although in the official website no speed rating is mentioned. Okay, so now that we are done with the technical specification of the different SoCs, we shall now move on to the part where we explain you what can be the near future of the mid-range smartphones. So as per my analysis, I believe that big manufacturers or OEMs like Samsung would put the Snapdragon 662 in their mid-range smartphones or their equivalent Exynos parts instead of the Snapdragon 720G because of their cost effectiveness and the ability to almost keep up with the same SOC in terms of raw processing power. But when it comes to the applications which also utilize graphics card equally, then in those applications the mobile phones having the Snapdragon 662 will suffer quite a bit because of the lack of graphics performance, because as we saw in the numbers, it's almost half as fast as the 720G. So, in my opinion, 720G will be only used in enthusiastic brands like Redmi and others, which are from Chinese manufacturers. If you have the service availability of those manufacturers like Redmi, Oppo, Vivo in your town, and you are willing to sacrifice for the lack of the durability of reputed brands such as Samsung, then it's quite a no-brainer to go with the Snapdragon 720G because of the far superior performance. But if you want a okayish phone which you want to last, then I would suggest to go down a notch in the performance and rather stay with a reputed manufacturer with good after sales service. So that's all for today's video. Thumbs if you like it, subs if you loved it. See you guys next time.